My name is Lowell, and I'll be your safari driver for the next 2 weeks. And while we're out here on the Harambe Wildlife Reserve, I ask that you please remain seated at all times. As you can probably tell already, the road is super bumpy out here. For the same reason, hang on tight to any cameras, hats, cell phones, glasses, children, and other loose articles, as I'm not allowed to stop for anything that goes overboard. Also, please refrain from leaning out those windows. A lot of the plants around here have long, sharp thorns, and I really don't want anyone getting stuck. Now, all the animals you're going to see here today are wild, free-roaming animals, and not even I know where they might appear from or when. So keep your eyes peeled. Now we're going to start our 2-week safari out in the Little Ituri Forest. The Little Ituri is home to a lot of grazing animals and a lot of camouflaging animals. These animals are playing a deadly game of hide and seek against predators, where the stakes are survival. Up on our right-hand side, you can see a dark brown animal with striped legs. That's an okapi. Okapi are a close relative of the giraffe that wasn't discovered until 1902. And on our left-hand side, you can see some bongo, also known as the ghosts of the forest, due to their rare and elusive nature. The one without the horns on the upper right-hand corner is a baby. Both male and female bongo get horns. Male bongo's horns from, that little brown animal that just emerged on our right-hand side next to the okapi, that is a yellow-backed duiker. Yellow-backed duikers are known for squealing and diving into bushes when threatened. There's a black rhino coming up on our left-hand side. Black rhino are the smaller of the rhino species. They weigh about 3,500 pounds on average. Although black rhino have no natural predators, they've been hunted almost to extinction by poachers, and there's only a few thousand of them left in the world. They're being hunted for their horns, which some people believe have medicine-like properties, which just is not true. Those are greater kudu on our right-hand side. Those are female greater kudu. I can tell because they don't have any horns. Rhino horns are actually made of the same material as our fingernails. We're now approaching the territory of the most dangerous animal in all of Africa. The most dangerous animal in the world, actually. Anyone care to guess? Hippo. That's right, it's the hippopotamus. Hippos run at a speed of 20 miles per hour. They weigh almost 5,000 pounds. And they have long 18-inch razor-sharp teeth. And they're fiercely territorial. They'll attack anything or anyone that gets too close to them. But don't worry, we're perfectly safe in our big truck. Hippos spend about 8 minutes at a time underwater. You can see a couple hippo on our left-hand side. A family of hippo is known as a bloat.
You turned off your camera. No, it doesn't.
Like I said, hippos spend most of their day underwater. This is mainly to help them cool off. And they really only need to come up for air every 8 minutes or so. Hippo don't swim either. They actually walk along the river bottom. Those big birds you were seeing are called pink-backed pelicans. Pink-backed pelicans get a bright pink color to their feathers during their mating season. Just like most birds in the animal kingdom.
You can walk across that?
It is the males that will get the brighter pink color in order to try and attract a female. Sometimes you'll see birds perched on hippos' backs, eating bugs and parasites off their body. In nature, this is what we call a symbiotic relationship. A relationship between two different species of animals in which they both benefit. The bird benefits by getting some nice tasty bugs to eat, and the hippo benefits by getting the bugs eaten off of them by the bird. We're now approaching the African savannah. home to some of Harambe's more famous animals, like giraffe, elephants, and even lions. Up on our right-hand side, this tree here is called a baobab tree, also known as an upside-down tree, named for the fact that its branches are leafless for about 9 months of the year, making them look kind of like large skyward-facing roots. This is mainly to help this tree conserve water, and sometimes you'll see thirsty elephants piercing a baobab tree with their tusks to take a drink. At the bottom of this hill, those are Ankole cattle. Ankole cattle are also known as Watusi cattle, named for the Watusi tribe that originally domesticated them. Both male and female Ankole cattle get those long horns, and their horns are hollow and almost honeycombed on the inside, filled with blood vessels that better let them cool down on hot days. Owning an Ankole cattle is seen as a status symbol in certain parts of Africa, kind of like owning jewelry or a fancy sports car back in the Americas. These are giraffe on our right-hand side, Maasai giraffe to be exact. Maasai means messy in Swahili because they have a messy spot pattern that isn't as neat or tidy as reticulated giraffe spot pattern that you're probably used to seeing in television. Giraffe are the tallest land animals in the world. They stand about 18 to 20 feet tall on average, and their tongues get longer than my entire arm. And they're thick and coarse like sandpaper, better letting them strip leaves and thorns of the trees they're eating from. Those are African painted dogs on our left, over the bushes. Painted dogs are the most successful pack hunters in all of Africa. They successfully catch about 90% of the prey they chase after. Despite being such good hunters, though, they are almost extinct in the wild. There's only 8,000 of them left in the world, and they lost a great deal of their territory to strip mining. You can see more of those giraffe there on our left-hand side.
Why do they trade cameras?
And those big brown animals with the backwards-facing horns are sable antelope. Sable antelope's backwards horns help discourage animals like lion from leaping onto their backs. These are termite mounds on our right and our left. These big clay-looking pillars. Termite mounds are as hard as cement, even though they're really just made of clay, mud, dung, and termite spit. There's a giraffe looking right at us over here.
That's a little one.
Giraffe only need to sleep for 30 minutes of every day. And they can sleep either sitting down or standing up. Almost never lying down, as that would make them far too vulnerable to predators. Giraffe can run at speeds of 35 miles per hour. Oh, there are some white-bearded wildebeest running on our right-hand side. You can see they're running right towards us. White-bearded wildebeest travel in herds of bigger numbers than any other animal on Earth, of about 5,000 to 10,000 wildebeest. They're also known as gnu, spelled G-N-U, named for a sort of mooing sound they make, kind of like mooing with an accent. Now on the savannah, all these animals will try to learn each other's cries of alarm. This way, if, let's say for example, a wildebeest spots a lion and sort of moos and alarm, the other animals will recognize that sign, and they'll also know that a predator is in the area. In this way, all of these prey animals work together for their mutual survival.
The elephants should be in this area.
Looks like all the animals were hanging out in the lowlands. A little downhill from us. Looks like some lightning hit this tree, so I'm going to go through very slowly in case there's any brush in the road. Coming up ahead of us on our right-hand side, you can see a bull elephant. And on our left-hand side, playing on the rocks, are some mandrill. They're also under the tree line, too. Mandrill are the biggest species of monkey in the world. Mandrills get to be about 100 pounds, and they have bright blue faces. They get bluer as they get excited. Mandrill are also one of only 2 species in the whole world that'll bar their fangs when they're happy. Does anybody know the other species? It's humans when we smile. Now this is a bull elephant. I can tell because he's all by himself. Male elephants spend most of their lives solitary. They only ever return to the herd in order to mate. So whenever you see a big herd of elephants, they're almost always entirely female. Oh, this bridge has definitely seen better days. But I don't have enough room to U-turn, so let's just go across carefully. Don't worry guys, that creaking noise is normal to bridges around here. So is that metal tearing noise, that's normal too. So is this is also normal! Don't panic, I'm doing it for you! Whew. Almost lost my cool there. Up ahead of us, it looks like we've just arrived at the red clay pits. The red clay pits are home to a large female herd of elephants. Let's go check them out. Now, elephants are a matriarchy. That means they're ruled by a dominant female that does all of the thinking and decision making for the whole herd. The matriarch is almost always the oldest and wisest elephant. But here in Africa, we've been having a lot of problems with elephants wandering onto farmers' land and eating their crops. This is bad for the farmers, obviously, but it's also quite dangerous for the elephants, as we never want them to be that close to humans. But here at Harambe, we learned from watching these elephants that elephants are actually really afraid of bees. Weird, right? And so by encouraging farmers here in Africa to build beehives on the edge of their farmland, it scares the elephants away, which keeps them safe. It also supplies the farmers with another source of income from selling the honey. So it's a rare win-win for both. See how the elephants are flapping their ears like that? That's to help them keep cool. Kind of like a human using a hand fan. Elephants are extremely social animals as well. They're actually talking to each other all the time, but they only make about 3 noises that our human ears can hear. Elephants have more muscles in our trunks than we have in our entire bodies. This pool up ahead on our left is a pool of greater flamingo. Greater flamingo are the lightest pink of all the flamingo species. They get that pink coloration from a protein called beta-carotene, found in the shrimp that they eat. Whenever you see flamingos standing on one leg, they're really just giving their other leg a rest. They're very light birds, and they only need to stand on one leg at a time. They can do that even while sleeping. A family of flamingo is known as a flamboyance. Up on our left, you can see where the wardens confiscated some horns, tusks, and ivory. It's a sad truth here in Africa that as many as 96 elephants are killed by poachers every day. There is a white rhino up on our left-hand side. Now, white rhino are actually the exact same shade of gray as black rhino. They get their name from a mispronunciation of the Afrikaans word "wyd," which means wide-lipped. So actually there's the wide-lipped rhino. You can see those rhino right up on our left-hand side now. Rhino can charge at speeds of 35 miles per hour. They have 2-inch thick skin like a layer of body armor. And although they have very poor eyesight, they have an extremely keen sense of hearing and smell. There's some ostrich coming up on our left-hand side. Ostrich are the tallest land animals, well, the tallest birds in the world. And there's a cheetah, 2 cheetah, on our immediate left.
Oh, yeah.
You can see the 2 of them there. Cheetah can run at speeds of up to 60 miles per hour, making them the fastest land animal in the world. These are a couple ostrich in front of us. I'm gonna have to go very slowly just because they're kind of walking in the road.